What are we starting with? Because we're already upbeat as the people of Kanchibia. But congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Science, Technology and Science.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In closing the digital gap, we are also saying that we need to close up the gap attributable to delivery of internet. A number of towers that we have erected do not deliver internet services. So what we are doing this year, one is upgrading the active equipment to ensure that at the very minimum we have 4G to be able to deliver internet services. For all the towers that we are going to construct from now on, there will be minimum 4G to ensure both voice and internet. But beyond that, Honorable Member, we are also focusing on quality of service and quality of experience. Once you put in 4G, these two elements are anchored. I thank you.
Thank you. The last question will be from the Honorable Member for Wacha.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. And I would want to thank.
There is a point of order. Honorable Member for Mwembeji, what's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, I stand on a point of order pursuant to our Standing Orders 65. Madam Speaker, the people of Mwembeshi, particularly in Jabota and Mugulaigwa, they have never seen any internet, any tower in their life ever since God created the earth. And therefore, I'm here stranded in my mind when the minister is talking about internet. Is it in order to start talking about internet when the people in Mugulaigwa and Jabota, they have never even seen a tower for connectivity? Is it in order, Madam Speaker? I'm seeking a very serious ruling on the Minister of Technology. I thank you.
Honorable Member, as a community worker, it's incumbent upon you to educate your people so that they appreciate what the internet is. That is the way the world is going. So everybody should log in and be familiar with the internet. That is the only way we can go. People are now talking about artificial intelligence. We need to have our children think in a different way now. Creative thinking, not chabota what, no internet. Oh, that was on a lighter note. May the Honorable Member for Wacha continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology. Your statement, Madam Speaker, his statement borders also on the committee, your committee that I belong to, Committee on Media, Information, Communication Technology. Honorable Minister, your details, the details of your statement are very, very clear. But there is one component, especially that as backbenchers, we are also there to provide oversight function. We would want to know the cost, the total cost of the 300 communication towers that will be dotted around the country. What is the cost for those, the initial ones, the 31, and then the total cost of the 300 communication towers? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Technology and Science.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just want to assure the people of Chabota that moving forward, what we are going to plant in Mwembeshi is going to be 4G, so that they can be able to experience internet service and also voice. So as the Speaker says, your role as Honourable Member of Parliament is to encourage them to be digitally alert, to be able to have minimal digital skills so that when we deliver, the rate of usage is equal to the investment that we shall place in them. So we'll give you a bit of time before we plant for you to come back and assure us that you are actually up to the task. As for the Honourable Member for Wacha, what is the cost for the 300? The cost is influenced by a number of factors, including location. Some are hills, some are rivers, some are distant, some are far from power, and all sorts of things. But on average, the cost of a fully functional 4G, 5G tower would range from 140,000 US dollars to 260,000 US dollars, depending on these factors that I've actually spoken to. So that is the range for putting up a tower. It is a very expensive enterprise, but we think that our people deserve to be connected. And therefore, government is not looking at the cost. It is looking at connecting our people so that their lives are improved, their lives are transformed, the economy grows. That is what we are looking at and not the cost. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Question for oral answer under Standing Order 76, the Honourable Member from Pika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 249.
The Honourable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Member has asked the following questions. A, what the status of the country's bailout package under the IMF program is, and B, what benefits, if any, have resulted from the program so far. And the answers are as follows. Under A, what the status of the country's bailout package under the IMF program is. The IMF, or International Monetary Fund, approved a US dollar 1.3 billion extended credit facility program for Zambia on 30th August 2022. The 1.3 billion is programmed to be dispersed over a period of 38 months. The first disbursement of approximately 182 million was done in September 2022. The program is underway, and a team from the IMF is currently in the country holding discussions with the government to review progress on the implementation of the program. Under B, what benefits, if any, have resulted from the program so far? Madam Speaker, the IMF program has supported the restoration of macroeconomic stability, as well as boosted confidence of our commitment to economic reform. Some of the economic benefits which have resulted from the program include the following. One, facilitating debt restructuring of Zambia's central government's external debt. The program has made it possible for Zambia to sit with creditors and negotiate the restructuring of our unsustainable debt. The negotiations are still ongoing, and the IMF is helping to urge the creditors to quickly conclude the structuring process. 2, providing balance of payment support under the program. As I said earlier on, Zambia has so far received the first disbursement of approximately $182 million in September 2022, which has augmented the gross international reserves position of the country. And 3, attracted grant funds for budget support. Being on the program has facilitated receipt of resources from institutions such as the World Bank in support of our development agenda, including towards social safety nets, such as the social cash transfer. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Kabata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Minister, we saw in the, I think the past, is it 7 years or so, our colleagues who were there, they failed actually to get the bailout. 7 years, they changed ministers for finance. They also changed the Bank of Zambia governance, but still they failed. What magic did you use, Honorable Minister, that within the shortest period of time of UPND forming government, you were able to achieve that? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable. Indeed, the previous government tried to secure this program as far back as 2016. And from 2016 up to the point when they left, they had not yet managed to secure the program. But of course, it is also true that in the event that they had won, they would have continued to seek an IMF program because it was one of their campaign agendas. We all remember posters everywhere, and securing the IMF program was one of the important objectives. I think the important thing as to why this government has succeeded is the commitment, the political commitment to show that you are serious with what you are intending to do. And with that, those who are able to support, they've concluded that these are people worthy supporting because they commit to do to what they've committed to say. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member from Pika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you for your response. You have implemented all the conditions demanded by the IMF, most of them very harsh, which have resulted into the sufferings of our people, including civil servants. Madam Speaker, the previous regime could not implement this program owing to the conditions. They kept on negotiating the conditions so that they could be better, which our people
Order, Honorable Member, do not debate. Just ask points of
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Question.
Madam Speaker, the Bank of Zambia increased the statutory reserve ratio from 9% to 11.5%. Following this, banks have also increased on either their own repayment period or the repayment amount. Most of our civil servants are swimming in this debt. Honorable Minister of Finance, is your government considering reintroducing the debt swap so that our civil servants can be cushioned on as they navigate through these hard times brought by the IMF bailout package? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable for that question. Madam Speaker, the harsh conditions there were more harsh conditions under the PF than under the UPND government. Madam Speaker, to illustrate this, under the PF government, I'm sure you heard so many times of civil servants, universities, and other government bodies going for several months without pay. Several months without pay. That is harshness. Madam Speaker, you recall that previously, civil servants would borrow money to certain people with a view that there will be deduction from their salaries to pay those that they've owed, that they owe. You recall that very well, colleagues, isn't it? Yes. Madam Speaker, the salaries of the civil servants were being cut, but instead of the money being transmitted to those who were owed, it was not being transmitted. That is harshness. Madam Speaker, under the PF government, children, millions of children were failing to go to school because they could not afford. Others were going to write exams but turned away because there was no money to pay the examination fees. That was harshness. Madam Speaker, pensioners were going for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years without being paid. Now, Madam Speaker, that was harshness. Today, they are being paid. Madam Speaker, today the children of Zambia are going to school, sitting on desks. Today, there's infrastructure everywhere in the countryside, building classrooms, building schools, building clinics. Today, Madam Speaker, those who are receiving cash transfers, they are receiving it on time, and the amounts have been enhanced. So how can anyone now today say there is more harshness today when there was 10 times more harshness before? Madam Speaker, on the debt swaps, if that is brought to our attention and we find it feasible, we may consider it. I'm not promising, but we may consider it. We can take a look. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Leader of Opposition.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Minister, some of the reasons for the delayed signing of the IMF and the PF were because of certain conditions, especially in the agricultural sector and the energy sector. You have signed the IMF deal, and what we have seen in the agricultural sector, there's been some reduced support to the farmers, given the number of bags of fertilizer that we're walking away with. Secondly, there's been some increased tariffs, electricity tariffs, and of course, not to talk about fuel. My question is there a relationship between your signing of that IMF deal and these harsh conditions that Zambians have been subjected to, and specifically in the energy sector, to do with fuel and electricity tariffs, and indeed in the agricultural sector, where farmers were sharing fertilizers in medals? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, these things that the Honorable Leader of Opposition is talking about, the fertilizers, the electricity tariffs, the fuel subsidy removal, these are things that, in fact, they already agreed with the IMF themselves. But I say so, Madam Speaker, because when we got in office, we found draft letters of agreement between this government in power and the IMF. They already agreed to those things. That is why, Madam Speaker, they had all these big posters on the roadside saying IMF program, because that's what they were going to do. They were just waiting. Had they won, they would have done exactly what we've done. Madam Speaker, on the agriculture support program, by the way, Madam Speaker, our colleagues are very good at saying one thing but meaning another thing. They are very good at that. But on the agriculture, for example, on the FISIP, Madam Speaker, there is absolutely no difference between what is happening now and what was happening under PF. The quantities are exactly the same. The reason why there are issues of, he's talking about MEDAS, the reason is that during that time, fertilizers was only being given to PF members. Fertilizer was only
That attracts a point of order. Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Order. I thought the Honorable Minister is answering your question, Honorable.
He has made an allegation which is serious.
May the Honorable Minister continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You can raise the point after he finishes.
So the point is that they were favoring those who are aligned to their parties, and therefore fertilizer appeared to have been plentiful. But for the majority of the people, especially those in the opposition areas, for example, in Liwa, under the PF government, there was no fertilizer that was ever delivered to Liwa constituents. No. But now it's being given. So it appeared to have been plentiful only because they were favoring a few people.
It's such statements.
Madam Speaker.
We can't keep quiet when he's lying.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, no. That's not, no, that is not good.
Madam Speaker.
No, that is not good.
On the energy.
Listen to that.
Let's have order, Honorable
On
members.
the energy.
You asked a question, order.
No.
Order.
On the energy, Madam Speaker.
You asked a question, the Honorable Minister is answering.
I've raised a point of order. He's lying.
On the energy, Madam Speaker. On the energy.
But why is he misleading the nation and the way?
On the energy.
No.
Again, I say that the document that we found in office, they had already committed themselves to increasing the tariffs. They committed themselves to that. You committed yourself to increasing tariffs.
Yes, but don't
you must be truthful.
Oh, the Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you.
I think that is not the way to go. All the honorable members, when you ask a question, the minister is answering, and then you continue. I think the role, order. The role of leader of opposition is to provide alternative policies. But from what I'm seeing here, there is no alternative policy.
Point of order.
No, I didn't ignore you. I told you that you raised the point of order once the minister has finished, because he was answering your question. Huh? Now you raise your point of order.
The point of order I was raising was contemporaneous because you were telling a lie. You know? You were.
Order,
what's wrong with you?
order.
No.
Order, Honorable
Madam Speaker.
Order. Honorable Leader of
You
Opposition.
can't tell me to sit down.
Can you withdraw? What is happening today? What is happening? Maybe the Leader of Opposition can tell me, what are your plans? What do you intend to do?
Madam Speaker, I have no plans for the House, but I may have plans elsewhere, but not for the House.
Yes.
Yes. Madam Speaker, when the minister was responding.
Order first. Let me say something. Let's work together in harmony. Today is the last day. Please, we want to adjourn on a good note. So when a question is asked, you are given opportunities to raise your points of order. And when you raise your point of order, don't start attacking each other like that. It doesn't show that you are honorable members. And whichever side, whether left or right, doesn't depict the dignity on the honor of this House. May the honorable leader of the opposition raise his point of order.
Madam Speaker, my point of order relates to standing order number 65. The minister, in responding, made a statement that fertilizer was only given to PF members. The rules of the House are very clear, Madam Speaker, and you have ruled on similar matters on several occasions. Is he in order to make such a statement when he hasn't laid any evidence on the floor of this House? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Oh, this issue of fertilizer has been a subject before this honorable house. People have discussed about how fertilizer was distributed and we all know what happened. So should we go that route again? We shouldn't go that route. Let the dead dogs lie. Let's leave that matter. It has been discussed, and even the records of this house will show that how fertilizer was distributed. We don't want to go that route. Let's proceed. Did the minister finish answering questions? So we go to the next one. Honorable member for Mukushi South.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I want to show some sadness that statements coming from the Honorable Minister of Finance.
Honorable member for Mukushi, please ask your supplementary questions. It's not the time to debate or to advise or to preach to anyone. So please ask your supplementary question.
Honorable Minister, you have indicated that we have been given the IMF bailout package of 1.3 billion, and that so far we have received $182 million. Are you able to, in simpler terms, so that the marketeer can be able to listen, how has this money benefited the local person in order to reduce the cost of living in the country? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, the cost of living, as I've said over and over in this House, cannot just be seen as the cost of one commodity. It is everything. Whether you're talking about health, whether you're talking about education, whether you're talking about cabbage, it is the entire thing. Now, Madam Speaker, you wanted to give an example of how an ordinary person has benefited. Madam Speaker, in the previous government, as I said a few minutes ago, parents were failing to send their children to school. Because when a child goes to school, they were being told pay 600 kwacha merely for tuition. If the child was to be in boarding, the requirement was 1,000 kwacha. Now, look at all the parents, especially in the rural areas. But even here in urban areas, if you go to some of these compounds, how many parents were able to send their children to school? Today, they're able to send their children to school. Would you not say that this is a relief to the parents? And the most important relief because it builds for the future of the family. So, Madam Speaker, if my colleagues there cannot appreciate that the cost of education going down is something is important, it means that for them, what is important is not education, but something else. Madam Speaker,
please,
thank
let's
you.
not, okay. Yes, that's, now you are also contravening, you are breaching the rules. I was addressing the issue and you are saying the minister. I mean, what is happening? Members, honorable members. Next question, the honorable member for Itestesh.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 250.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. Any question that causes controversy, we'll move. We are moving.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let us work together. Mr. Mutinta, Member of Parliament for Iteji is asking the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development at A, whether the government is aware that there are people selling alcohol to students and young people at the entrance of Evelyn Horn College and the National Institute of Public Administration, NIPA, along Dushambe Road in Lusaka? And if so, what urgent measures are being taken to curb this illegal act and avert moral decay of young people around that area? Madam Speaker, in response to the question raised by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Iteji, I wish to inform this august House that government through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development is aware of the illegal vice of selling alcohol at the entrance of Evelyn Horn College and NIPA along Dushambe Road in Lusaka. It may be interesting for you, Honourable Member of Parliament, to also let you know that government is aware that this problem does not only exist at these two institutions, but is a countrywide problem where people have been allowed to trade in alcohol away from obtaining licenses to even underage citizens. At B, the urgent measures to curb the vice are that the Lusaka City Council has been assigned to patrol and also arrest the perpetrators. Further, on 17th March 2023, the Council Police, in conjunction with State Police, did conduct an operation to, among others, curb illegal sales of alcohol and demolished 3 illegal makeshifts which were recently reported by the NIPA management. Members may wish to know and note that during this operation, 2 male suspects were apprehended and 2 boxes containing 12 by 375 milliliters of liquor bottles were confiscated. Further, the 2 suspects were formally charged and released on police bond and are waiting to appear in court very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions, Honourable Member for Iteji.
Thank you so much, Minister, for the statement and for the steps that are being taken. I would also want to know, considering the fact that these 2 institutions, in my investigations, at the moment, they don't have any legal points where students could buy liquor. You might want to know that these are the students who are above 18 years old. And the academic freedom allows them to buy beer in a legal place, such as the student center that we had when we were at the University of Zambia. Would you also be able to comment whether within their premises there are legal spaces where they can access the facility of taking beer, if they wish to do that?
The Honourable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, yes, I know what the colleague is speaking about, that even when I was back at University of Zambia, back in the year, we had a student center, student canteen, where the weekend would go and cool off with a drink to socialize. I can confirm that these 2 institutions do not have this facility at this point. Nevertheless, it is something that management can manage on their own. They do not need the ministry to ask them to establish recreation centers. Let me also just be quick to mention that intake of alcohol is generally not advised for people who are in a learning environment. Of course, there are exceptions, especially when regulation is in place, to make sure that even as you establish these recreation centers inside learning institutions. They do not provide a social misfit to create what we used to call lumpens back at University of Zambia, who would then disturb the environment of learning. We would rather we keep the institutions as they are without alcohol in there, and those who feel that they need to have alcohol, because NIPA and Evelyn Horn are pretty much in the peripheries of the central business district where a lot of recreation areas exist, and so they can go and have drinks in the nearby areas without really having to push an extra mile to establish drinking places in the institution.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kawata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity once more again. Honorable Minister, I just wanted to find out, like the way you've stated that indeed it's not only about Evelyn Horn and NIPA, but we have seen it also in our constituencies where we have seen that most of these home shops, they are actually either selling alcohol and there are no proper sanitary, rather toilets or so. So I wanted to find out, Honorable Minister, because if we let it go like that, we may end up again increasing the number of junkies that are actually even terrorizing our residents in our communities. I wanted to find out whether your ministry is actually considering to employ more council police officers and also more inspectors so that we try and see how we can reduce this vice.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you, Madam. And thank you, colleague, Honorable Member of Parliament for Kawata. In my maiden response, I indicated that this problem, Madam Speaker, was not only limited to these two institutions, but that it's a countrywide problem. I'd like to put it to you, Honorable Member of Parliament, that we need everyone's hands in the society to make sure that everyone operates within the confines of the law, the rules, and the regulation that govern alcohol sales. Yes, it's true that when we got into office, we found that a lot of makeshift off licenses, if you so wish, or makeshift bars had been established almost everywhere. So the whole country is just a drinking place. That is the problem that we inherited. And in our quest to correct this, we've made sure that the councils do not renew the trading liquor licenses for areas that clearly have no sanitary facilities, as you put it, namely toilets with running water, and to ensure that designation of where what ought to be in terms of city planning and restoration of order is done. But please understand, it is a gradual process. I learned from the best myself as I took over this ministry. I'm sure you recall that I thought I could remake the world, and we went to try and nip the brewing of illicit alcohol called cachaso, and we were very, very, how do I put it? Madam, we had underestimated the size of the problem. The problem of this brewing of alcohol that is illicit is a huge one, and it requires much more careful attention because it was regarded as a norm before. And we are determined, but how we are going to do it is systematically. We will soon, you will see that arbitrary trading of liquor anywhere and everywhere will be a thing of the past. We are working on it. And regarding the issue of production of what you name junkies, it is also a very big problem in this country. These so-called junkies are our young juveniles, boys and girls, who, as a result of this same vice of arbitrary sale of alcohol, wanton sale of alcohol everywhere and anywhere, has created alcoholism among our small children who don't just imbibe alcohol, but they also top it up with psychotropic substances like marijuana, cocaine, and all the bad things that degenerate the society. So we have a big task ahead of us as a country, and all we can do, to borrow the words of yourself, Madam Speaker, is that let's work together to try and reverse what may have gone wrong in the past.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Nalolo, that was a late indication. I had already closed the list. It will be Honorable Member for Mandevu, and then the last one will be Kasenengwa. Honorable Member for Mandevu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I agree that the illegal sale of alcohol is becoming a problem, not only in town, but I think even in our areas, Mandevu inclusive. Honorable Minister, we have a situation in Mandevu constituency where land reserved for Chipata Level 1 General Hospital has been encroached. I think this is an issue I've brought to your office, an issue I've engaged the town clerk, where alcohol is being sold next to a general hospital when the Liquor Licensing Act stipulates that no license shall be given to a place which is 300 meters close to a school, a hospital. But because some people who were PF yesterday are now wearing UPND colors, people want to continue with illegality. When are we going to see the law take its toll so that such illegalities which are against even our culture, you cannot sell alcohol near a hospital, because what then it means is that even the officers that are supposed to tend to the patients, the sick patients, will be tempted to buy alcohol and attend to patients in a drunken manner. When am I going to see your office come down the way we've seen you before to come and remove that container in Mandevu constituency? I thank you so much.
Thank you. Although the question is not related to the one that is being asked, but because the minister had opened it up, the minister will answer the question.
Madam, thank you very much for the opportunity to answer the question from my son, and to confirm that yes, he's been to my office to register a complaint about the container, the 40-foot container that was established opposite the Mandevu Level 1 Clinic Hospital. Like I said earlier on, Madam Speaker, is that the whole country has degenerated, especially where this is concerned. And the assurance that I can give to the Honorable Member of Parliament, now that she has escalated this matter to the House of the People, is that give me 48 hours and that container will be gone.
Thank you. The last question, Honorable Member for Gasenengwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, this issue of selling alcohol in learning institutions is quite common, almost countrywide, like you indicated earlier on. And it's a huge source of concern. We've seen a lot of children, coming back worse than they went to these learning institutions, which is a huge challenge, actually, even to parents. And most of us actually have fallen victim to such issues. When are you, Honorable Minister, going to work hand in hand with the ministry responsible, the Ministry of Education, to make sure that if these people selling 100 meters of school vicinity are completely shut off, either charged for trading illegally, and those businesses closed completely? When are we going to see that? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam, thank you very much once again, and thank you, colleague. Managing change, especially in a situation where it's broken, cannot be an overnight sensation, Madam Speaker. we are alive to the issues that the colleague raises. The only difference now and what it used to be before when we were back at UNZA is that even the alcohol that was being sold in the recreation centers within the institutions of learning had limited alcohol content, like lager, which is 4 to 5%. Now, times have evolved, and what we need more is a cultural shift rather than clamping people, moving from institution to institution, closing bars. Because even the packaging of alcohol, Madam Speaker, has now become a little bit more conducive for people to just put in the pocket and continue imbibing, even when they're in the class. So we are working very closely, just to assure you, Honorable Member of Parliament for Kasenengwa, with our sister Ministry of Education, to make sure that we sanitize as much as possible, especially that this whole thing of alcohol intake, if you heard the President during the time he came to make the State of the Nation address, he addressed the issue of a national alcohol policy, because we recognize that as a government, that alcohol intake has increased exponentially to alarming levels, and we need to work around this to reverse the trend in a collective manner and not just shunt it to the ministry that is responsible for licensing of alcohol. I can confess to you today that many people that you see on the high street of Cairo Road, Freedom Way, Chachacha Road, Lumumba, and everywhere in the country, they just establish on top of their boxes and start selling without any form of documentation. What we found, however, as we came in, is that the government then, which is your party, Honorable Member of Parliament, had been levying these people who are trading illegally. They've been collecting council levies in form of 5 kwachas per day for these people, thereby legalizing the trade. When I got into the ministry, I asked them to stop these people as the first to crystallize the illegality that is associated with trading of alcohol wantonly. So it is something that I think we cannot achieve in one day. It is a very big battle, and I wish that everyone was thinking in the manner that you are thinking, Honorable Member of Parliament. But please be reminded that at the time when my ministry had moved in to try and put our marketeers back into designated trading places, we were labeled all sorts of names, that we were heartless people, people must survive, and yet the designated trading places, in this case I'm using markets as an example, are yawning and they are empty. There are no people in there because everybody has come to the street as if we were in Haiti. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question for oral answer, Understanding Order 74, the Honorable Member for Kanchibia.
Question number 251, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I wish to thank the Honourable Member who requests to know whether the government has any plans to provide transport to the District Agriculture Coordinator's office in Kanchivia District to ease operational challenges, and in B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and finally, C, what form of transport will be provided. Madam Speaker, our answer is as follows. Yes, the government has plans to provide transport to Kanchivia District. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member may wish to note that Kanchivia currently has an operational motor vehicle, a Land Cruiser, registration number BAB 7033. Further, the district has 4 operational motorbikes at its disposal. On B, Madam Speaker, the ministry is continuously implementing a program to provide transport to various districts in the country, including Kanchiwia. For the 2023 budget, the ministry has made an allocation to procure motorbikes for various districts in the country, of which Kanchiwia is one. With regards to the motor vehicles, the ministry intends to make a provision in next year's budget, if funds will allow, would like to improve the transport situation in the entire Ministry of Agriculture. Madam Speaker, for C, as I have indicated, in 2023, the ministry has made a budget provision for procurement of motorbikes. Kanchiwia may be considered in the procurement of motorbikes this year. I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kanchiwia.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity and allow me to thank the Honorable Minister for his response. Honorable Minister, indeed, there's 4x4 attached to the Department of Agriculture, but I wish to report that the 4x4 is limping, Honorable Minister. When you look at the width, the breadth of Kanchiwia and what we're trying to do, also taking advantage of the CDF, increased CDF allocation to plow into agriculture, it's become very difficult for your office in the district to supervise and to monitor what we're doing, the rice production especially under the CDF component. And so there's contestation to use a CDF vehicle, which has to monitor many other projects. A dedicated vehicle, Honorable Minister, would be greatly appreciated besides the motorbikes that you've alluded to. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister, do you have any comment on that?
I can only thank the Honorable Member. Thank you.
Thank you. There is a request begging the indulgence of the Honorable Members to go to question number 256. So can we proceed to question 256 if that is okay, Honorable Member? Members, begging your indulgence. Question, Honorable Member for Kanchiwia.
Question 256, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I wish to thank the House for allowing this change in arrangement. The Honorable Member for Kanchiwia, Mr. Chanda, asks whether the government has any plans to empower smallholder farmers in rural areas with micro-irrigation systems, and in B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. Madam Speaker, in answering this very important question, our position is as follows. Yes, government has plans to empower smallholder farmers in rural areas with irrigation systems. B, government is already implementing these plans through the following programs. Madam Speaker, there is the expansion of community-based smallholder irrigation development project, and this project is being implemented with the support of Japan International Agency, JICA. The program supports farmers to develop temporal, cost-effective wares to support irrigated agriculture across the country. The program, Madam Speaker, has irrigation sites in Luapula, Copperbelt, Northern and Northwestern provinces of Zambia, which are referred to as follow-up provinces. The total number of smallholder farmers benefiting from the project under this program, Madam Speaker, is 3,113. Currently, there are additional sites under this program which are being implemented in new targeted provinces, namely Copperbelt, Northwestern, Central provinces of Zambia, benefiting a total of 2,917 smallholder farmers. The project targets 45 districts in both follow-up provinces and the new target provinces. Therefore, this program is benefiting a total, Madam Speaker, of 6,030 smallholder farmers. Further, Madam Speaker, Chiansi Irrigation Structure Project in Kafue is based around a bulk water supply company that is owned by government to provide water for irrigation to local communities and smallholder farmers. Currently, there are 200 smallholder farmers who are benefiting from the irrigation project. Chian's irrigation project covers 3,800 hectares and is expected to service 3,500 households. Madam Speaker, the Strengthening Climate Resilience in Agroecological Regions 1 and 2, a project called SCLARA, is another project under the Ministry of Agriculture which targets smallholder farmers in low rainfall areas of the country. It has operational irrigation sites in southern, western, and eastern provinces of Zambia. Currently, the project has drilled and developed 138 boreholes in 13 districts of Zambia, namely in Sesheke, Mlowezi, Kazungula, Namwala, Gwembe, Siavonga, Chirundu, Rufunsa, Luangwa, Nyimba, Mambwe, and Chama. From the boreholes, the project intends to set up micro-irrigation that will benefit the smallholder farmers in terms of water for irrigation and livestock. The project is constructing an irrigation scheme in Sioma that will target 72 households, and it will be completed in a month's time, Madam Speaker. 4. Irrigation Development Support Program, IDSP, is another irrigation project which is operational and has sites in Momboshi in Chisamba Central Province, Lusitu in Chirundu Southern Province, and Musakashi in Mufulira on the Copperbelt Province. The IDSP project, Madam Speaker, is benefiting a total of 1,472 smallholder farmers, broken down as follows. The Momboshi irrigation scheme has 5,083 hectares, servicing 728 smallholder farmers. 2. Lisitu has 270 hectares with 382 smallholder farmers in Chirundu. And lastly, Musakashi has 834 hectares, covering 362 smallholder farmers in Mufulira. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions, Honorable Member for Kanchivia.
Madam Speaker, I thank you so much for the opportunity yet again, and I thank the Honorable Minister for his response. Honorable Minister, the country has in excess of 3 million smallholder farmers, and we know that one of the hindrances to migrating from the rain-fed farming is lack of access to irrigation for our farmers. My question is informed by this reality. There's precedent which has been set by, I think, your counterpart ministers or ministries, where we've seen procurement of a police vehicle captured under the CDF for 2023. We have seen money going towards electrification under 2023. Would the ministry consider negotiating for this space with the Honorable Minister of Finance, even as we pray that he increases allocation in under 2024, to create space for the agricultural sector and to have a component for mechanization for the smallholder farmers, especially those of us coming from rural areas? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, a very brilliant suggestion. Madam Speaker, let me put it as follows for the benefit of those who are in the House and those listening. The country has done very well in the seed sector. Now Zambia is a net exporter of seed. 2, the country has taken a very good trajectory in the fertilizer sector. By next year, we will not be importing fertilizer unless those who want to import. The third program, therefore, will be mechanization. So with what you have said, I'm so inspired, and I sit next to the Honorable Minister of Finance. I'm sure he's going to help me lobby with also the Minister of Local Government so that we can probably deviate some funds from the CDF and go into mechanization. Madam Speaker, I thank the Honorable Member through you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kanchivia, a follow-up question. Another.
Madam Speaker, I thank you, and let me qualify that we make that submission on the prayer that there will be an increase. Madam Speaker, in asking my follow-up question to the Minister, the question would be then, would this be on the basis of equity, and that's a submission that would want to make, that in making this consideration, kindly consider equity, because we do not want to see irrigation, mini irrigation kits for my good brother, the Kawata MP. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I'm grateful, and indeed I take cognizance of what has been said, but also take advantage of this question. Madam Speaker, the member from Kanchiwia, Honorable, who has just posed the question, has effectively used CDF to support agriculture. And I think I would like to use this chance that all of us in the House should take a good example from what he has done by using CDF onto agriculture. Because previously you could not do that, but the laws now allow. So I think I really want to take advantage of this and say, this is a very good example. We can use CDF to buy tractors and give them to groups. We can use CDF to buy irrigation systems and give them to groups. And I think that's the way to go. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Much appreciated, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, it's gratifying to note that you have, as a minister, you have a plan for drought-prone areas, and you mentioned of the activities that you are taking in Gwembe, Siavonga, and Chirondo. Surprisingly, Honorable Minister, the people of Sinazongwe are wondering as to why you don't have any similar program for Sinazongwe, bearing in mind that Sinazongwe is a drought-prone area. It also shares the lake Kariba, where we can do a lot of micro irrigation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Honorable Member, and I think I would encourage him that using his headed paper as the MP for that area, he could actually just write us a note so that it is, the record is kept. We can definitely consider supporting that area. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Kawambwa. You had indicated, at least I will be accused that I didn't allow you to debate.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister, who has stated in his responses that Zambia is a net exporter of seed. For how long has Zambia been a net exporter of seed? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, the UNIP government started the program, brought in Zamseed and etc. MMD carried on, did very well, and passed on the baton to PF, who have now passed on the baton to us, and we have accelerated that. So it has been a continuous process of development. I thank you.
Thank you. At least we have acknowledged this. The minister has acknowledged that PF has passed the baton, and they've accelerated it. The Honorable Member from Mbawala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Minister, for the wonderful statement. The ministry now is, as a country, we are a net exporter of seed. Is the ministry considering supporting local seed varieties, such as the Gankata, Kahwamba, and others, so that our small-scale farmers can benefit from this process which you are mentioning, Honourable Minister?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I'll answer the question in two. The first part is that all the seed, most of the seed that we are talking about, which we are, the private sector is using, are actually developed here in Zambia. I think that's important for the House to know. But I want to believe that the Honorable Member is talking about open pollinated varieties, what we call the local seed. Yes, if that be the question, yes, we are doing that, and there are 2-3 companies that are promoting local seed. This is seed which you plant, get the harvest. From that seed you plant again, get the harvest. From the same plant again for at least 3 years before the seed starts deteriorating in quality. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let's go back to our order paper. The next question, the Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 252.
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Chama North asked the Minister of Tourism the following questions. Whether government has any plans to degazette Chama district as a game management area, and the follow-up question is, if so, when will the plans be implemented? Madam Speaker, our response is as follows. Government does not have any plans to degazette Chama district as a game management area. And Madam Speaker, with that response, question 2 falls off. I submit.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for that response. I just want to find out from the Minister whether he is aware that under the Zambia Wildlife Act of 1947, Chama was gazetted as a game management area because it was part of Rundazi that time. But this time, Chama was given a district status in 1971, somewhere there. Don't you think that it is important that since now Chama is a district on its own, it's not part of Rundazi, it must be degazetted so that the whole area is not classified as a game management area?
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Chalo, for that follow-up question. Yes, I am aware that there was a separation of Chama district out of Lundazi, and also to just, for the purpose of this response, Madam Speaker, to just let the House know that most of these game management areas are used as buffers to the many national parks that we have dotted across the country. And I must make mention also, Madam Speaker, that the GMAs that we have across the country are used for both consumptive and non-consumptive tourism, of which Chama North, which lies in the Mulasangu game management area, is one particular area which our colleagues from Chama are benefiting out of the hunting that is going on in that particular area. Now, Madam Speaker, I must also make mention that Mulasangu GMA, it's important to note that certain areas do get designated for land use, and that is indeed part of the discussions that are held whenever we're creating what we like to call our general management plans within the national parks. So yes, we will be sitting with our colleagues from Chama district to ascertain particular areas or designated areas that will have as different land use purposes, and the Honorable Member of Parliament for Chama North will be definitely invited to be part of those particular meetings. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Please don't forget Chama South. They always move together. The Honorable Member for Chama South.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, clearly the government has no plans to degazette Chama as a GMA. Do you have plans, therefore, to ensure that you review the Wildlife Act and bring in the aspects of compensation? Because as a district, Madam Speaker, regardless of how hard work our people are, elephants destroy their food, their crops. We have families, Madam Speaker, in Chama North and Chama South that have completely lost whatever they worked for this season, and they need help in terms of food from today until another harvest. Even then, they have no guarantee
that these elephants will not destroy their food? Do you have that plan to ensure that people in Chama who are losing their crop, particularly food, are compensated? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you for that follow-up question from Chama constituency twin brother. Madam Speaker, indeed, the Minister of Tourism is in the process of amending the Wildlife Act, and this is a process that has taken a long time, of which us within the UPND have given it the utmost priority to ensure that the amendment of the Act is brought to this House. Madam Speaker, we should also realize that, and I want to take advantage of this particular question, Madam Speaker, that we as the Minister of Tourism understand, or rather as government, understand that there's been pressure with regards to land. Most of the pieces of land that we have in our country is being threatened by, obviously, the growth of human population. And I must make mention also that 33% of the landmass in Zambia today is in a protected area. As such, we also want to thank our colleagues from Chama North and Chama South for having given up their land so that these particular areas be protected. However, it is important to also recognize that in as much as these pieces of land are protected, it's not our desire as government to shun people from using those pieces of land for other alternative activities such as agriculture. And indeed, like I mentioned earlier, it's very important that whenever our colleagues, our people within those two particular areas require to use those pieces of land, it's important that they abide by the rules that are governed under the General Management Plan of all those particular game management areas. And to answer another question, of which I think you are most supposed to ask one question, and a similar question, Madam Speaker, was asked as to whether the government of the Republic of Zambia would be compensating those victims of human-wildlife conflict. And I did make mention in my response, Madam Speaker, that in due course, the government, through the Minister of Tourism, is looking at alternatives on how we could start compensating, obviously with the help of our colleagues from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit under the office of our Honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for that response. Minister, you mentioned that the people of Chama are benefiting from the wildlife. I would like to state that our people are not benefiting from the wildlife. It is the safari hunters who are benefiting. So my question to you, Minister, since that area is classified as a game management area, is your ministry thinking of restraining these wildlife officers who are going in people's homes? People just buy meat from somewhere, and then they go and arrest them. And most of our people are in prison in Inundas there. Instead of them going to catch poachers in the bush, but people are caught from their homes. Are you taking measures to ensure that they refrain from doing that, so that they should be catching poachers in the game management area, not in homes?
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for that question. I appreciate the follow-up question from my colleague from Chama North. Madam Speaker, I just want to make a clarity from outset. The people of Chama, and indeed any other game management areas where consumptive tourism happens, by consumptive tourism I mean hunting, they do benefit. And they benefit by way of safari outfitters making pledges to their various community resource boards, of which I'm assuming that my colleague here, Honorable Mtachalo, is part of and is well aware of what the CRBs do in the particular areas. Now, with regards to law enforcement, Madam Speaker, I heard from my other colleagues mentioning that meat is meat, ding any ding. So wherever you would find it, we do send our law enforcement officers to just make sure that we deter a number of people from killing our animals, who we would like to call as our paymasters in our ministry. So I'd like to encourage colleagues in here who are area members of parliament and have GMS to educate our people. Advise them not to find themselves on the other side of the law, which will get them into being arrested. The punitive law with regards to poaching is something that most people do not like, but I think it's important that those laws are in place to ensure that our wildlife is secured and we use it as our draw card for the many tourists that we want to have in our country. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The next question will be asked by the Honorable Member for Bwacha by prior arrangement on behalf of the Honorable Member from Kaika.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. Question number 253.
The Honorable Minister for Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Member of Parliament from Mukaika, Mr. Piri, asked the Minister of Education whether the government has any plans to construct a university in Katete district, and if so, when the plans will be implemented. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that A, yes, the government has plans to construct a university in the Katete district, and B, the commencement of the plans depends on the availability of funds. You may note that the New Dawn administration has inherited a lot of incomplete university infrastructure and many other infrastructure across the breadth of this country, and that the government will only consider new projects after completing these projects, some of which stood as way back as 2014. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? None. We move to the next question. The Honorable Member for Chairman North. Is it? Oh, sorry. The next question, the Honorable Member for Chimba Milonga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 254.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Msonda for Chimba Milonga constituency asked the Minister of Education, A, why the construction of the Lonsangwe boarding school in Chimbamilonga parliamentary constituency has stalled, and B, when the project will resume, C, at what stage of completion the construction works were as of August 2021, and D, what the cost for the outstanding works is, and E, what time frame the completing outstanding works is. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that A, there is no construction of Sangwe boarding school in Chimbamilonga parliamentary constituency. You may wish to note that Sangwe is a primary school and is not under construction. And B to E, due to response in Part A, Part B, C, D, and E follow. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? Honorable Member for Chimba Milonga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There is a boarding school under construction called Nsama Boarding School, and I've tried on 3 occasions to correct the name with the journals, but to no avail. And I was told that the question will go like this because the information is already available in Nsama Boarding School. Thank you.
So since there is a wrong name that has been given, and the minister prepared himself to answer in relation to this school called Lusangwe, then or maybe the minister can clarify.
Yes, I thought that probably it is the MP who didn't know his constituents, but you may wish to note that because of being too close to Lusangwe Primary School, Sama Boarding School, whose construction has stalled is mistakenly referred to as Lunsangwe Boarding School. There is no boarding school named Lunsangwe Boarding in Chimbamilonga Parliamentary Constituency. Now, an update on the construction of Nsama Boarding School, the man is doing something else. He's not listening.
Honorable member, you asked a question, now you are not listening to the question. And honorable member from Pika, you are standing there discussing and giving me your back. That is in total breach of our standing orders. If you want to consult, you can walk out and consult and then come back. We don't stop people from consulting, but we need to do it in accordance with our own rules. Honorable member for Chimbamilonga, please pay attention to the answer.
I will repeat what I wanted to so that he hears. You may wish to note that because of being too close to Lunsangwe Primary School, Summer Boarding School, whose construction has stalled, is mistakenly referred to as Lunsangwe Boarding School. There is no boarding school named Lunsangwe Boarding School in Chimbamilonga Parliamentary Constituency. Now, an update on the construction of Summer Boarding School. A, the construction of Summer Boarding School in Chimbamilonga Parliamentary Constituency has stalled because of financial constraints. B, the project will resume in 2023 subject to availability of funds. And C, the stage of completion of all the construction of the school was, as of August 2022, sitting at 50%. Indeed, the cost of outstanding works is 36,865,521 kwacha 98. And A, the time frame for completing the works is 2 years, subject again to availability of funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable member for Kafue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to find out from the Minister of Education what the general policy will be regarding the completion of this particular school and many other schools. I also have such a school, Chikupi, in Kafue, and a number that I'm aware of in several.
Honorable member, let's stick to the question. This is a constituency-based question.
Yes,
let's not expand it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So the question is really, how does government intend to approach the completion of these schools, including the one we are discussing? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture. No. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I've repeatedly said about these stored infrastructure, many of them dating back to 2013 or 14. Generally speaking, if that is what everybody wants to hear, we intend to complete these secondary schools. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we will be completing almost 20 of them this year, and the rest next year. But this is what we are trying to do. I know Chikopi is at an advanced level than this in Sama boarding school. So the idea is actually to complete all these schools in order to have space for many of the kids who have come back to education, courtesy of free education. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chimbamilonga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, just want to confirm, did you say it's at 50% completion? Because when you go on the ground, this school, most infrastructure is complete. And if you say that it's at 50%, my follow-up question will be, since on the ground, most structures are complete, wouldn't you consider first the operationalization of this particular school so that we avoid vandalism? As at the moment we are lucky, there's been no vandalism. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm very happy that you are saying there is no vandalization. Those are the societies that we require. Go back and please preach the same that public property is public property. People must take care of their public property. There are very few people who are doing that. In some of these schools, you find vandals. But I'm very happy that I think one day I'll even come so that I appreciate the community in Chimbamilonga, because Zambians have got broken minds in terms of vandalism. So if there is a society which behaves this way, I commend them, and I think that we require to put in a lot in order to complete this school. But don't say that vandals have not yet come, because it's like we are assuming that they should come. No, they shouldn't. That is their property for their own children. But to appreciate, since you have said that, many of these people tell me that schools are being vandalized. But to find a society which is not vandalizing the property, which is public for their own children, is commendable.
Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, now they are all again in more late indications. We need to move. Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine may sound like a suggestion. Honorable Minister of Education, we have 156 MPs, and you keep receiving almost similar questions about when this school infrastructure will be completed. Are you in a position when we return after adjourning just to come and maybe give a statement generally on incomplete education facilities, and maybe you try and do a report and just put them in the pigeonholes so that people know when these projects will be done, because we might be asking routine questions which appear the same. Would you be in a position to just come and guide all the members of parliament, because we all have infrastructure which is not complete? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. That's a good suggestion. Honorable Minister, what do you say to that?
At the expense of repeating myself, I think I came here, I talked about 100 and, was it 56 stored schools? I think I said it here. And I said they're at different levels, but since your suggestion is that we talk about this school here, like his school, this one. Who are you? Number 4? Yes, Matumbo, yes. Yeah. Yes. So I will actually update everyone on, and that one from Chama. What school is that? Huh? Shivade, yes. So I think your suggestion is right. We'll compile and check to say that this one will complete this year, the other one next year, the levels at which they are. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think with that suggestion, well, these indications, do we still need to go further? I will only allow Honorable Member for Chimbamilonga to ask his second question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In fact, I'm just repeating the question. I asked the minister if he was considering a phased operationalization of this school. Phased opening of this school. But he did not answer my question. So I wanted him to declare whether he's going to operationalize it or not in a phased approach.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, are you willing to do that?
First of all, like I said to yourself, Honorable Member, I'm not quite sure about this 50%, which I have, and you claim it is more than 50%. We do phased operationalizations sometimes, but it depends on how we know how it is going to work. For example, you cannot put a phased approach if the waterworks are not there, or if it is just partial waterworks. So we need to go and check and see whether we can do that. But it is possible because we've done that. But in particular, this one, I wouldn't really vouch like that because I don't know at this stage. So experts should be able to go and guide and see whether we can do that. But it is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We go to the next question. The Honorable Member for Chama. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Chama North, yes, okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 255.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Chama North wants to know, where's the question done? I beg your pardon. Wants to know whether government has any plans to upgrade the following clinics in Chama North Parliamentary constituency to mini hospitals. Roman 1, Kambombo, Roman 2, Chibale. At B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and at C, if there are no such plans, he wants to know the reason why. Madam Speaker, the government has no immediate plans to upgrade any of the clinics in the country to mini hospitals. Therefore, Kambombo and Chivale clinics in Chama North Parliamentary constituency will not be upgraded to mini hospitals. At B, Madam, as stated earlier on in A, government has no plans to upgrade Kambombo and Chivale clinics to mini hospitals. Therefore, the question B automatically falls off. At C, Madam, the health services in Zambia are delivered in a service delivery structure that aims at providing health services as close to the family as possible. The House may wish to note that the service delivery structure has been reclassified and will only consist of the following: health posts as the lowest and nearest to the family, health centers, these apply in the urban and rural, first level hospital, this is at the district level, second level hospital, these are general hospitals, third level hospital, these are central hospitals, and at fourth level hospital, these are specialized hospitals. Madam Speaker, going forward, clinics and mini hospitals will be classified as health centers in urban or rural settings. I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for that response. Minister, the demand for quality health service is growing in our constituents because of increasing population. Chivale is about 60 kilometers from Isoka. So usually our people have to travel to Isoka or Chinsali, which is very far, to access the same facility. Is your government, I'm aware that the government is rolling out mini hospitals. Is your government not going to consider at least allocating us at least even one mini hospital so that it's able to service our people in the constituency? Thank you.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I indicated in my maiden answer, I put in no uncertain terms the new classification, which excludes the nomenclature mini hospital. It is no longer there. It will not be there. It was there probably for decorative purposes. As a new government in place, I have just tabulated the new classification. It does not include mini hospitals. This is not to say that there will be any laxity in the quest to increase the service delivery. In the case of the Chivale Rural Health Center, which the MP is lamenting about, I wish to inform him, and through him the House and the country at large, that it has 4 nurses, which includes a midwife, one clinical officer, and one environmental health technologist. So the answer is that there will be no mini hospitals, like I said in my maiden answer.
Thank you. Honorable member for, what did I say? Chama South.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, we face same challenges. Honorable Minister, clearly you have looked at how, I know you've said you will not call them mini hospitals, but these facilities were constructed countrywide, and the Chama was left out. Are you considering putting up, I don't know whether you are now calling level 1 or slightly advanced health facilities, because you are saying they will not be called mini hospitals, because people of Chibale, people of Chiko and Chifunda in my constituency need these facilities where, Madam Speaker, services such as minor operations and the admission can be done. Are you going to consider giving us such advanced medical services so that people do not cover a distance of more than 100 kilometers, Madam Speaker? And during this rain season, it's almost impossible to take patients to Chama or Lunda's general hospitals. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker, and thank you, colleague from Chama South. Tagging on from his own words that many hospitals were being constructed throughout the whole country, and Chama South was left out. I wish you to know that the country has not got sufficient medical facilities yet, and every end of the finishing line is the beginning of a new race. Those who didn't give you the mini hospitals ran their race, they finished it. We have now taken over, and like I said earlier on, it is in our quest to provide first-class medical services to all our citizens in an equitable manner. And so I couldn't tell you the day nor the time when this will be done, but let's work together. Let us work together. That is the core statement, that where you feel that the service provision to the constituency that you represent are lagging behind, let's sit down together so that as we prepare every budget for every preceding year, we can factor in those areas that seem to have gaps, as the gap that sits in Chama that was left by our S12 brothers who ran their race up to 2021.
Thank you. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Examinations Council of Zambia Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023, committee stage.
The House will now resolve into committee.
The Examinations Council of Zambia Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023. Clause 1, short title. Any debate and objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, interpretation. The question is that Clause 2 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 2 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 2 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. I put the question. The question is that Clause 2, as amended, stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 2, as amended, is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 3, continuation of examinations, Council of Zambia. Any debate, any objection? Clause 3 is agreed to. Clause 4, functions of board. The question is that clause 4 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 4 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 4 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. I put the question. The question is that clause 4, as amended, stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 4 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 5, Board of Council. Any debate, any objection? Clause 5 is agreed to. Clause 6, functions of board. Any debate, any objection? Clause 6 is agreed to. Clause 7, executive director, secretary, and other staff. Any debate, any objection? Clause 7 is agreed to. Clause 8, prohibition of operation of examination centers without accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 8 is agreed to. Clause 9, application for accreditation as examination center. Any debate, any objection? Clause 9 is agreed to. Clause 10, request for additional information. Any debate, any objection? Clause 10 is agreed to. Clause 11, certificate of accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 11 is agreed to. Clause 12, renewal of certificate of accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 12 is agreed to. Clause 13, inspection of examination center. The question is that clause 13 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 13 be amended with the words as circulated.
The question is that clause 13 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. I put the question. The question is that clause 13 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 13 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 14, suspension or revocation of certificate of accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 14 is agreed to. Clause 15, variation of certificate of accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 15 is agreed to. Clause 16, display of certificate of accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 16 is agreed to. Clause 17, assignment, cessation or transfer of certificate of accreditation. Any debate, any objection? Clause 17 is agreed to. Clause 18, surrender of certificate of accreditation on cessation or operations. Any debate, any objection? Clause 18 is agreed to. Clause 19, appointment of examination officer. Any debate, any objection? Clause 19 is agreed to. Clause 20, registration of candidate for examination. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 20 is agreed to. Clause 21, disclosure of interest in examination and examination material. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 21 is agreed to. Clause 22, examination malpractice. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 22 is agreed to. Clause 23, suspension, cancellation, or nullification of examination. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 23 is agreed to. Clause 24, possession of offensive material and disturbances at examination center. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 24 is agreed to. Clause 25, announcement and publication of examination results. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 25 is agreed to. Clause 26, withholding or nullification of examination results. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 26 is agreed to. Clause 27, counterfeiting of certificate or diploma. The question is that Clause 27 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 27 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 27 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate? Any objection? Amendment is agreed to. I put the question. The question is that Clause 27, as amended, stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 27 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 28, prohibition of forgery. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 28 is agreed to. Clause 29, prohibition of presentation of forged certificate, examination result slip, or statement of examination results. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 29 is agreed to. Clause 30, prohibition of impersonation. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 30 is agreed to. Clause 31, inspectors. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 31 is agreed to. Clause 32, honorary inspector. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 32 is agreed to. Clause 33, powers of entry, search, and inspection. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 33 is agreed to. Clause 34, registers. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 34 is agreed to. Honorable members have seen that it's 12:55, but we've only got less than 10 minutes work. We don't know if we can just continue and then we close. Thank you. Clause 34, registers. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 34 is agreed to. Clause 35, offenses relating to registration. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 35 is agreed to. Clause 36, prohibition of publication or disclosure of information to an authorized person. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 36 is agreed to. Clause 37, oath of secrecy. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 37 is agreed to. Clause 38, appeals. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 38 is agreed to. Clause 39, general offenses. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 39 is agreed to. Clause 40, administrative penalty. Any debate and objection? Clause 40 is agreed to. Clause 41, offense by principal officers of body, corporate or uncorporate body. Any debate and objection? Clause 41 is agreed to. Clause 42, guidelines. Any debate and objection? Clause 42 is agreed to. Clause 43, regulations. The question is that Clause 43 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 43 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 43 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. I put the question. The question is that Clause 43 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 43 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 44, repeal of Act number 15 of 1983. Any debate and objection? Clause 44 is agreed to. First schedule on page 23. Any debate and objection? First schedule on page 23 is agreed to. Second schedule on page 27. Any debate and objection? Second schedule on page 27 is agreed to. Long title. Any debate and objection? Long title is agreed to. The bill be reported to the House as having passed through the committee stage with amendments. Madam Speaker, I have to report to the House that the Committee of the Whole House has gone through the Examination Council of Zambia Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023 with amendments.
Day for consideration of the report.
Now, Madam Speaker.
Consideration of the report to be taken now. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report of the committee be adopted.
As no notice has been received of any further amendment, is it your will that the report of the committee be adopted? Any objection? I see none. Report adopted. Day for third reading.
Now, Madam Speaker.
Third reading of the bill to be taken now. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read the third time.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. Let the bill be read the third time.
The Examinations Council of Zambia Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023.
Next order.
The Anti-Terrorism and Non-Proliferation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2022, report stage.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, before I move the motion, allow me to excitedly welcome the Vice President of the United States of America. This is her home. She grew up here. And we should all be excited that one of our own has come to visit her home. Those who don't want, they can go somewhere. Yes. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report of the committee be adopted.
Thank you, thank you. Order, let's get back to work. As no notice has been received of any further amendment, is it your will that the report of the committee be adopted? Any objection? I see none. Report adopted. Day of third reading.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill will now be read the third time.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill now be read the third time. Now, with it.
The question is, the welcome remarks took us off. The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. Let the bill be read the third time.
The Anti-Terrorism and Non-Proliferation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2022.
Next order.
The Controlled Substances Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2023, third reading.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read the third time.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. Let the bill be read the third time.
The Controlled Substances Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2023.
The Acting Leader of Government Business, adjournment.
Sorry, Madam Speaker.
So
Madam
the Honorable Leader of Government Business has been here, but he never logged in. Internet, Honorable Member for Mwembesh, is affecting all of us.
BBC, Madam Speaker. Born before what? Computers. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn. Sine die.
That is my portion. The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House? Is now adjourned. Cynthia.
just been watching live proceedings of the House and the debate that the members have been debating this morning. And today was the last day of the debate for this sitting. And we have a look at what was discussed on the floor of the House today.
And so we had